Hello, fellow diamond painting addicts, and welcome back to Diamond Painting Anonymous. I'm Daphne, and I'm here today for this week's WIP and Chat. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not new here, welcome back. WIP, W-I-P, stands for Work in Progress, and this is mine. You are welcome and encouraged to go grab whatever you are working on and work alongside while I chat. Or alternatively, you can treat this as a podcast and just listen while I chat. Today I am going to be working on my Gamer Girl by Medusa Doll Maker. This is the kit that I bought from DIY Moon over a year ago probably, and I'm still working on it. I'm getting there. I've had to take some time off because my wrist has been bothering me, but I'm back to working on it. So I'm going to zoom in to where the section where I'm going to be working, and then I will be right back. All right, let me start my timer. I've got my notes and everything ready to go. I'm going to be finishing up. This is kind of it's a double section, but I was working on this yesterday, so I'm going to finish up what I was doing here and then I'll move to. So let me start with my life update. Lots of things going on since I talked to you guys last. Last week, I had to take my son to the immediate care for what we think was poison ivy. We're not really sure still. They ended up giving him a steroid and some antibiotics, and thankfully he is doing much better. It took several days on the steroid for the swelling to go down, but the swelling is down. The redness is almost gone. Of course, he comes up, "Mom, I don't think I need to take any more of this." "No, you need to keep taking all of it like they told you to, because I don't want it to come back." So he's doing much better. So that's good. Last weekend, in addition to all of that, my husband had gone out for a storm. So far this week, he hasn't been called out. It's been 3 weeks in a row, I think, that he was called out. But last week, he was called out on Saturday. He got home around 10:30, and at 11:30, our power went out. We called the electric company, let them know, and we thought, well, we'll just go to bed. You know, everybody was already on their way to bed. The freezers, the refrigerator, and everything would be fine, and so it was all good. Turned out that it wasn't even a big storm. Like, it was a big storm in other places, but for us, it rained for maybe 5-10 minutes. It was really windy for about 5-10 minutes, and that was it. Unfortunately, during that really windy 10 minutes, a tree branch fell on a line that took out a whole bunch of us who live on my street. It happened to be a main one. We didn't get power back until 6:30 p.m. Sunday. Luckily, it was not very hot on Saturday. It was actually, I mean, we've been having 100-degree temperatures. It was actually, I think, in the 70s, 80s, high 70s, low 80s that day. So even though we didn't have air conditioning, it was not terribly hot. It did get to the point that we were worried about the food in the refrigerator, especially at today's prices. So we ended up going out and buying a generator, and several of our neighbors were running generators as well for the same reason, to keep, you know, food in refrigerators and freezers going until we could get the power back on, because we had no idea how long it was going to take. We were not the only ones running generators, like I said, but I was glad my husband hadn't gotten called out, because he went and bought one for us, a small one, just so we could run our fridge and freezer, because it was taking long enough. Like, when we got up Saturday morning or Sunday morning, the refrigerator and freezer, we already had stuff that was starting to melt, and I'm like, we're going to lose all of our food. So he ended up going out and getting a small generator, and we were able to run that and a small fan that we hooked up in our living room. So we all just kind of sat in the living room and, you know, laughing because we didn't have any electricity. So of course we didn't have any internet other than our phones, which we used our phones as hotspots for a while, but it just, I was reading, so I was fine. I was playing games on my iPad. My husband was surfing Facebook and all that kind of stuff. My son was bored out of his mind, of course. But it all worked out. The power came on around 6:30, which when it went off, my husband, you know, Saturday night, my husband's like, "Oh, it'll be back on before the morning." And I was like, "Yeah, I think you're dreaming, but we'll see. And then, of course, when we woke up, it wasn't back on. And my husband had gone out and talked to one of our neighbors who said, you know, oh, we think it's going to be tomorrow, because they were running their generator and they figured it would be Monday before everything got turned back on. And my husband's like, oh no, it'll be back on by noon. No, it wasn't. It was 6:30, so it was Sunday, but so that was entertaining. And then after the power got turned back on, we realized we still had no internet, which of course we had no internet while the power was out because couldn't run the modem or the router. But then once the power came back on, we realized, oh, the same branch that took out the power line apparently also took out our fiber internet line. And so they're scrambling to get that back on. And it was Monday afternoon. And I was panicking because I'm like, oh, I haven't, you know, finished and uploaded all of my video and everything that I need to have for Tuesday, and I can't do it on my phone. The files are so big, it would take forever. You know, I was like, okay, just, you know, it's not the end of the world. You guys would understand if something happened and I wasn't able to post anything. But it all worked out. It came back on in enough time that I was able to do everything I needed to do, and everything continued uninterrupted. So it was all good. But it's really funny, you know, you don't think about how many things use electricity until you don't have any. And you're like, well, I could do, no. Well, I could, no. So I went and got my hair done, and I was talking to my hairdresser about it, and she said, you know, they were the same way. One of the last storms, they were out of power, and she said, you know, I thought to myself, oh, I'll go read books on my Kindle. Well, my Kindle was dead, so she didn't have a way to charge it. Yeah, it's just, you know, funny. We have one of those like little solar powered batteries. It's like a Jackery sort of thing. It's not a Jackery brand, but something like that. And we've been using that to like charge our cell phones and tablets and laptops and that kind of thing. So it is nice, you know, even though we didn't have any electricity that day, we were able to, actually Saturday night, it was hot in our house because it had been hot all day Saturday, and our bedroom is upstairs, and we normally run a fan in our room, and we were able to use our little Jackery battery thing to run a fan so it wasn't so hot that we couldn't sleep that night. And then we were able to recharge it, you know, Sunday during the day. It was nice and sunny, and my husband was able to recharge it, so we were able to charge our phones, charge our tablets, all that kind of stuff, even though we didn't have electricity. So it was good. I mean, we probably could have done that using the generator as well, but since we had the freezer and the fridge running on the generator, I was like, let's just, you know, charge these other things off the little Jackery battery thing. That'll be just as good. And it was fine. I told my husband I'd like to have, now that we've got the generator, you know we could run the fridge and the freezer if anything happens. The only saving grace, because I told my son, you know, he was complaining, and I was like, it'll be back on eventually. Go read a book. Find something to do that doesn't require electricity. The only saving grace was that I had told my son that we would, you know, maybe go to a hotel, but once we got the generator for the fridge and freezer, we still had hot water. Our hot water heater is gas, not electric. So luckily for us, because if I'd had to take a cold shower, then we definitely would have been going to a hotel. I do not like cold showers. I mean, I've had to heat up water for baths before, but not a fun thing. And it takes forever to heat up enough water. And then it's, you know, by the time you get in the bathtub, it's lukewarm at best. Of course, it's hot, so I probably wouldn't have had to heat it up as much. But anyway, we still had running water and hot water. So between that and the generator, it was all good. And now we feel, you know, if it happens again, then we're prepared. We just don't usually lose power in our house. The lines to our house are underground. So, you know, unless it happens where it's a case like this, where, you know, it's a main line that's not near our house or something that gets taken out, we very rarely lose power. And that's probably the maybe second time that we've been without power for a significant amount of time. Usually if our power goes out, it's out for, you know, a couple hours and then it's right back on. So it was interesting. I'm telling my son, yeah, this is how I grew up. You know, we didn't have the internet to go do stuff. Okay, what else did I need to tell you guys? Oh, our trees seem to be doing better. We sprayed that pesticide on them to get rid of the bagworms, and it seems to have helped. I don't know if the tree in the backyard is going to survive, but the one in the front yard seems to be doing okay. At least it's not getting any worse. So I'm saying that it's doing okay. At least we hopefully, you know, saved the rest of the trees, kept the worms from spreading to any of the rest of the trees. We hope. Hubby still had some car issues. He had gone out and gotten takeout for us one night, and he was bringing it home, and he had set the drinks in the passenger footwell, and he spilled them. Apparently he took a corner too fast or something and they tipped over. So he had told me about that, and we got in the car to go somewhere the next day. The car came with those like WeatherTech, you know, laser whatever custom floor mats. And so I looked and I saw that it was wet, and I said, what is that? And he's like, well, that's where the drink spilled. And I'm like, okay, well, you need to wash all that out. My feet go here and it's all sticky and everything. And a lot of times, you know, I'll put my purse in the floor in between my feet. And I'm like, so I don't want to get this all over my purse. Well, he goes to pull it out to clean off the liner and realizes the floor underneath it is wet again. So this tube that basically shuttles condensation away from the air conditioning condenser in the car that we have gets blocked a lot. There's a little flap, and it doesn't take very much for, you know, dirt or debris to block it and not let the flap open. Plus, my husband discovered part of the issue is it's at a almost straight across level. Well, if you're wanting water to drain, it needs to be at an angle that, you know, gravity is going to drain the water. And so with it being level, if your car is on a level surface, then it's great. But for most of us, especially in the US who have driveways, your driveway is at an angle. And that angle means that the water flows back instead of out the drain. So then it flows back and it overflows into the passenger footwell and up into the little housing that is where the cabin air filter is. So your air filter gets all wet. So when you get in the car, the air filter is wet, and then, you know, you got that old kind of musty, damp smell when you start up the air conditioning. So he's been trying to take the car apart and figure out, it's not anything wrong with the car necessarily, other than apparently just bad design. Because like I said, you know, if you're going to be draining water out, you'd want it at some sort of a slope, and it doesn't appear to be. And of course, this tube where it drains is in a place that's really, really hard to get to. So he ended up buying a replacement one that hopefully will, you know, work a bit better. And also he's been parking the car, backing it into the driveway so that the nose of the car, you know, faces down. So it should drain better. We'll see. Didn't have any water slosh on my feet, but hopefully that's going to take care of the problem. And speaking of car issues, my car is a car that my dad owned. And I told my husband when I got it that I'm going to drive it till it dies. And I had a certain dollar amount that I wanted to spend on it. Last time we had to have some stuff done to it, I said, you know, it's getting to the point where it's getting too expensive to keep it. So we need to think about maybe replacing it. The last time we had some work done on it, though, was maybe 3 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago. That was before, you know, COVID, before all the shortages, before, you know, you can't find a car. So right now, you know, with prices and everything being the way they are, we couldn't get a comparable car. I mean, it would just be ungodly expensive. And we wouldn't get, you know, what the car is worth to us. We wouldn't get that in money in a trade-in. And so I said, you know, at this point, even though it's more money than I want to spend, he took it to the mechanic. We had a small leak. And so we took it into the mechanic to have it looked at. It's got a small power steering fluid leak. It needs valve covers. It needs some bushings, car parts, whatever. And of course, you know, then the labor to have it all done. And it's going to be a decent chunk of money to get it fixed. And I told my husband, it's not, you know, it's really more than I wanted to spend. But right now, like I said, we couldn't get a comparable car without spending a whole bunch of money. And given the sentimental value of it anyway, and all the bells and whistles that it has, I'm fine keeping it. I mean, it's an 07. It's got, you know, 150,000 miles on it. But I very rarely, you know, we use it maybe once a week. It's not like it's a daily driver kind of car. And, you know, it's all this time that I've had it, it's been reliable. There's been one issue, well, I guess two. We had one issue where there was something wrong with the transmission and how it was shifting gears, and it took forever. We took it to 2 different places. And finally, the third time it happened, we took it to a guy that used to work for the manufacturer as a mechanic, and he figured out what the problem was and actually fixed it, and haven't had that problem again since then. And then we had the water pump seized up on us, probably, a year, 6 months ago, somewhere in there. It's probably been more than a year. And so we had to get that fixed. But other than that, you know, it's been a pretty trouble-free car. And like I said, we don't drive it every day. So yeah, worth more to get it fixed. And that, you know, even though spending more than I really wanted to, is actually saving us money, I think, to get it fixed and keep it running rather than going out and buying something new. Even if it's not brand new and just new to us, car prices are insane. So, because we've been looking to replace my daughter's car. Her car is, I think hers is an 09. I think hers is a couple years newer than mine. But, you know, cars just don't run forever. And even though, you know, you take care of them, parts wear out and stuff like that, I leave all that to my husband. I can't stand car shopping. It's one of my least favorite things to do. I want it to be like catalog shopping. Here's this. Here are the extras I want. What's the price? No, I don't want to haggle over it. I don't want to sit here and talk about what extras you're willing to give me and all of that. I just want to know what the price is. So I get really frustrated whenever we car shop. So usually what happens is my husband goes and does all the shopping, and then he'll find a couple of contenders, and then I'll go with him, or he'll bring it home and, you know, I'll test drive it and give him my opinion and everything. So we'll see. And we're right now hoping that there's going to be, not that we want there to be another storm. You know, I don't want anybody to be hurt or out any property or anything like that, but waiting to see if there's any more storm calls so that we can have some extra money coming in, because we've already got to pay tuition and books and everything this month, and now we're going to have to pay this money for the car to get fixed. And I mean, we'd be fine if he doesn't, but it would be nice. Although we'll see. It seems like every time I turn on the news, something is either a hurricane or a flood or a fire or something. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. Is that everything I needed to tell you? Oh, one last thing. You guys, I think I mentioned in one of the whipping chats, we bought our nugget ice maker. And I'd wanted one for a while. I love, here we call it Sonic Ice, because that's the place where you get it usually. And Sonic sells their ice by the bag, and we've gotten it before, but it's like almost like ice chips that you can chew on. And I just really love the ice. And so we got our ice maker, and I think my husband and my son love it more than I do. We have been using the heck out of it, and it's been really good. It's a lot quieter than I thought. It's really nice to have those small little crunchy ice nuggets. It's kind of funny because, you know, we bought it ostensibly for me, and I think my son and my husband use it more than I do. because every time I go in to get ice, we're almost out. I'm like, well, I guess I need to make some more. So my son has gotten into cold brew. He's buying all these cold brews when we do our grocery shopping, and then he'll mix it with the creamer, the Italian sweet cream creamer that my husband likes, and basically make himself like an iced coffee. And my husband saw him doing it one day, so my husband tried it, and my husband is in love because our creamer is a 0 sugar creamer because he can't use, full sugar because of his diabetes. And so we've been buying this creamer and he really likes it, but he'd never tried it in cold coffee before. So now he's in heaven making, oh, it tastes just like an iced cappuccino from Tim Hortons. Okay. He gets his little, I guess, iced cappuccino fix because I can hear him. He has like a little metal Yeti tumbler that he uses, and I can hear him, pouring everything together, and then he mixes it with we have metal straws, reusable straws, and I can hear him mixing it. So I know when he's having one, which I guess is fine. It's coffee. Coffee doesn't have any sugar in it, and the creamer doesn't have any sugar in it, and he thinks it tastes good. So win-win, I guess. Because some of the stuff that he drinks that has the fake sugar in it, just ugh. I can do stevia and monk fruit, and the allulose isn't bad. The xylitol is okay, but that's supposed to be bad for you now too. I'm waiting for them to come out and tell you that stevia and monk fruit are bad for you as well. And I can't do the sucralose or aspartame. Ugh. They just taste too much like chemicals. I don't know what I would do if I ended up with diabetes. I like sugar way too much. I don't know what I'd do. I have to rethink my whole diet. So I probably should do that anyway, but okay, I'm trying to see. Still got a couple of bees in here that I need to do. All of that, and I'm still on the same color, kind of crazy. Okay, I think that's everything I needed to tell you about my life update. So moving on to my diamond painting update. Probably not as much to share there as I would have otherwise. I've actually just in the last day or so picked this kit back up. I kind of took 3 or 4 days off because my wrist was really bothering me. And I don't know if I slept on it wrong. I don't know if I did something. I don't think it's my diamond painting that was causing the problem, but my wrist was just super sore and it was causing me issues when I was trying to diamond paint once it was sore. And I got a new brace, and that does seem to be helping. I don't wear it all the time, but I try to wear it. I should wear it when I'm diamond painting, but I've not been wearing it then because it gets in my way. It goes around my thumb and then it's in my way when I'm trying to do stuff. So, but it's all good. Things have been better, and I made some real progress on this over the last couple of days. I want to get this one finished. I actually have so many projects I want to get to. I don't even know. I think I'm just going to take the next couple of months to just kind of concentrate on getting projects finished. I want to get this one finished, which I think probably in 5 or 6 days, if I keep working on it like I have been, I can get this one done. I want to finish my Craft Pack Canada Flamingo. And then I need to finish I've got an old Mary's Diamonds back before Bella bought them. I've got an old kit when it was the old owner that I want to get done. That one is the square, but it's about the same size as this one. My Craft Pack Canada is a little smaller than this one, and the Craft Pack Canada is a round. The Mary's Diamonds is a square, but I think I just want to take, like I said, the next couple of months to kind of get everything finished. This one here and the Mary's Diamonds are ones that are on my artist series list. So I want to get both of those finished. The Mary's Diamonds one has been hanging on the closet door in my office for months, and I'm tired of it looking at me, so I just need to get it finished. Trying to make progress on all of these so I can move on to other fun things. Keep moving this back. I'm trying to finish all the bees in this section, which is not how I would normally have gone about this, but that's how I'm doing it today. So, And then I've got some smaller canvases that I want to do and have those finished. I've got some new things on the way, hopefully, that I will be able to share with you guys once they finally arrive. That's so frustrating. I think I talked about last time, you know, one of my pet peeves was them telling you something is shipped when all they've done is write the label. And I've got one item that I ordered it like July 30th. I don't know if it actually has moved or not, because I know there are people who said, you know, oh, it'll say it's just sitting there, and then, you know, one day it'll just show up, and then suddenly all of the shipping stuff will update. And it's been in transit, but just nothing had updated. So I don't know if that's the issue, but it doesn't appear that anything has happened with this item since the 30th, which is kind of annoying. So I'm just waiting to see. I've got 2 or 3 other items on the way to me that I'm still currently waiting on. And then I think I'm going to, I want to order some more kits, but from different companies. And I want to try to stick with ones that are, for now at least, within the US. So I've tried, let's see, what have I tried? I've tried, of course, Diamond Art Club, Jada Gem Shop, Dreamer Designs, Craftably, Distracted by Diamonds, Diamond Painting Shop, Diamond Dots. I've got my kit from the old Mary's, and then I've got a kit from the new Mary's Diamonds. I did a sneak peek for them once Bella bought them, and I would like to get to that one. But I also want to try some other ones. I've looked at Pam's Diamond Painting. There's several people who, you know, mentioned ones that are in the UK, and I will get to those eventually, but I would like to try some places that are within the US first. I think I'm going to order one from Mooney Made. She doesn't have a huge selection, so I'm crossing my fingers the one I want is still there when I go back to get it ordered. And then I'm trying to decide what other ones I want to do. I save every time somebody tells me about a diamond painting company. I will go look them up on my computer, and then I save, you know, I bookmark it so that I can go back and I just have like a list of painting companies that I haven't tried. I actually went through my list the other day, and there are a bunch of them that don't exist anymore. So I got rid of those links, and, you know, I guess people that come and go. I want to stick with licensed people though. So, but I know there's like some that I haven't looked up yet. Like I see all the time on Instagram, what is it? Lazy River Wood Turning sells paintings. So if there's anybody like that that you know of that you think is good that I should try, again, prefer US based first. I am going to get around at some point to doing Diamond Art UK because I've heard a lot of good things about them. But I just want to try some other places. Also, I'm torn about, just interested what your guys' take is on all the AI art. And not concerned with, at this point, I've talked before about, you know, my own issues with how it all came about and all that kind of thing. But people are using AI art, and if, you know, artists are using it to supplement what they're doing, then more power to them. I've seen some really cool AI art. My question is, a lot of the AI art that I have seen, I feel like it has to be done at huge sizes in order to make the diamond painting look as good as the actual art. It seems like there's just a lot of people who are doing like really hyper realistic paintings, so there's a lot of detail on them. And when you're talking about, you know, a really hyper realistic painting that gets shrunk down to like a 30 by 30, you're just going to lose so many details that I just don't think it will look good. And so I'm really curious. I saw one on Instagram the other day, and I can't remember where the lady got it from, but it was like this kind of Grecian style portrait of a woman, and the skin tone was done really well, and it was just really rendered really nicely, and it wasn't a huge kit. I want to say it was like a 40 by 50 or something, But I really love the style of it, and I thought that whoever did the rendering did an amazing job because I thought it looked really, really good. But that's, my thing is with a lot of the AI art that I'm seeing, yeah, I think the picture is gorgeous, but then I think, well, gosh, it'd need to be, 150 by 200 in order to get all of that detail in the diamond painting itself. And am I alone in thinking that? Have you guys done, a piece of AI art? How did the rendering go? What did you think of it? Yeah, inquiring minds. Wow, I got all that out and I needed exactly one. Okay, I was like, I thought I saw more than just one. So I needed a whole 5 drills. This definitely is a kit that, had I realized how confetti heavy it was going to be, I probably would have kitted it up using the tower method rather than doing it like I'm doing it, because it just, yeah, it's super confetti heavy. What else? Oh, the saga with the gnomes. I told you guys I ordered a kit. I ordered a frame off of Amazon for the kit that I made for my sister. And when I was originally out shopping for frames, I wanted to get like a color. My husband and I talked about, red or green or maybe even white. I looked at the white, but the border on the top and bottom of that is in like an off-white color. And so putting white right next to it looked odd. And so I decided against the white. I ended up just getting a black frame from Amazon because I thought, well, it was less expensive. It was supposed to be the right size. It was supposed to have a mat. So I went ahead and got it. And then I get it, and the dimensions that it said it was for the mat were not actually what they were. Yeah, it just ended up not working. Like, I tried to cut the mat because it needed to be both wider and taller to show the entire, drills. Like, it was cutting off quite a bit, the mat was. But if I take out the mat, it's way too big, and you could see the entire canvas. It didn't even fill the frame, and it was, of course, going to cost me more than the frame to send it back. So I'm hanging on to the frame so that I can hopefully use it in a different project. However, because I've got some larger kits that I think maybe it will work with. So for her gnome, since it's a Christmas present, I went to Frame It Easy, and I actually made sure my husband and I measured it pretty well, got exactly the size frame that I need, and it's supposed to be on its way. And bonus, it is green, which I was able to upload the photo and kind of try out the different colors that they had and see how it worked with the colors of the kit. And I thought red would be the best, but I actually think the green is going to turn out to look the best, so that's what I ordered. It did end up being quite a bit pricier because I did it that way, because it's a custom frame order, but it's a Christmas present and I want it to look good. I want her to like it and hang it up. So, however, I'm still waiting on it to get here. It supposedly has shipped, but I haven't seen it yet either. I did at least see movement on that one. I checked the tracking on that one, and it has actually left their facility, so it is on its way. I think it's supposed to arrive sometime next week. The other one, I have no idea. One of my items, no idea if it's shipped or not, or if it's just sitting in their warehouse. And, I'll get it when I get it. Did anyone buy anything on the new releases this week? I didn't get anything from Diamond Art Club or Dreamer Designs. I just didn't see anything that really was like, I really need that one. Even though I've given myself permission, but I'd rather save my money to buy from some other places I haven't tried before. So that's what I've kind of has been in the back of my head. I saw their Star Trek releases, and I'm a big Star Trek fan. I've been a fan for years. It was actually a series that my parents watched that we were actually allowed to watch and enjoy with them. My dad was an engineer, and so big into, science and math and all that kind of stuff. And they really liked it. So that was one of the shows that we got to watch together. Other shows they deemed inappropriate for us that we didn't get to watch, they watched after we went to bed, like Soap. For years, I wondered what was so funny about Soap, because my dad and my mom, my dad would laugh hysterically at that show. And my sister and I would always want to try and stay up and see what was so funny. Of course, we were little. Half the humor would have gone over our heads anyway, but we were watching, my husband was watching a rerun the other day, because I've actually never watched the whole series. I've seen a few shows here and there, but never really watched the series. And we're watching an episode and I'm going, okay, first of all, wow, this show is dated, and you know, the laugh track and everything. Still not quite sure why my dad found it so entertaining, but anyway. All right, what else? I guess DIY Moon is opening under new management. We'll see how that goes. I don't think some people were very happy when DIY Moon closed, because it was my understanding that people, you know, basically were told you're not going to get your kits or your money back because they filed for bankruptcy, which then makes me wonder, how did someone else buy them? Because if normally if you buy a business like that, you're like buying all of their issues. You know, like then it falls upon you to be the person to kind of sort all that stuff out. But I don't know. So, I mean, it doesn't sound like, from the few posts that I saw, it sounds like maybe the old owners are doing that. And the new owner is just kind of, I mean, I guess I was looking at their social media accounts. DIY Moon had a pretty good following on Instagram, and I'm assuming they had probably the same amount or better on Facebook. So if you can just walk in and take over, you know, those audiences, that's probably really good, except for the fact that a lot of those people were angry. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how things go moving forward. Once I get done with this kit, I'll be sharing my thoughts about this DIY Moon kit and then my other one that I did previously. Yeah, just kind of share my thoughts, which, you know, maybe isn't as relevant as it could be, given that they're, at least with those owners, no longer running the business. But I'm going to do it anyway because I want to share what my thoughts are about it after doing this kit and the other one that I did. I'm enjoying this one. I would be enjoying it more if my wrist wasn't bothering me, but such is life, right? Not everything can be perfect. I think the only other thing that I want to mention is, guys, don't forget DP for Pets. No, I always do that. I probably should have named it something else because I know people get confused. DP for Pets is over. DP for Vets is coming up. Oh, I don't know. I'm also toying with the idea of maybe I should name it something else, because I had somebody comment that, you know, they knew I'd done DP for Pets, and then I said DP for Vets, and they thought that meant veterinarians. And I was like, no. And, you know, they're not the first person to ask that question, but yeah, maybe I should have named it something else, but that's what it started as. I think that is everything that I wanted to tell you guys. Like I said, I think I'm going to take the next couple of months, the rest of August and probably September, and just kind of try to buckle down and finish some things. I've got this canvas, another one about this size, my Old Mary's Diamonds, and then my Craft Pack Canada that I want to get finished. And then I've got some that are smaller ones, you know, some specials for Smashing the Specials that I would like to do, and just some other smaller ones that I would like to get done. I need to take a look at my artist series and see where I'm at on my artist series, because maybe I'll reconsider how many small ones I need to do or want to do once I look at where I'm at with my artist series. I think I'm doing okay with it, but I don't know if I'm going to get to my 20 by the end of the year, and I really would like to do that. So I need to kind of go back and look at my schedule, look how quickly I'm going, what I have coming up, what I can do. Because what I'm running into is, you know, a lot of these were large paintings, which is the reason they're still in my stash undone, because there just never seems to be a good time to work on them. I keep thinking maybe I'm going to kit up 2 or 3 of them and then have them all out on my diamond painting table. so I could, you know, work on one for a couple of hours, flip over, work on another one for a couple of hours, and just kind of make my way through that way. I haven't done it yet because that was my thinking when I was working on the Heaven and Earth design. And what ended up happening was just everything else got piled on top of that one, and that one just laid there forever, and I'm hesitant to get stuck in that again. We'll see how I feel. If I can finish this one in the next 3 or 4 days, like I'm hoping with my wrist, then yeah, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. It's all kind of up in the air, right? I think that's everything that I needed to tell you guys. I made quite a bit of progress. Let me zoom out here so you guys can see. I've got, you can see the little bands on her arm. This is her hair, which is why it's kind of really confetti heavy. And then I've got, this is Link from Zelda. Not that you can tell that, but as I get going. Anyway, I've made some really good progress on it. I'm happy with how it's going so far. I'm going to leave that here for today. Thanks so much for joining me, guys. Thanks for sticking around till the end of the video. I hope you made some good progress on whatever you're working on. Before you leave, guys, don't forget to do all the things. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and hit that bell notification icon for future uploads. And as always, guys, thanks so much for watching.